Hello, everybody. It is September the 20th, 2020, right here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel, and this is Wrestleview Weekly. Hello. How is everybody doing today? I'm doing pretty good. It has finally cooled down. Autumn is upon us, I believe. Us here in the Carolinas, we have not hit over 80 degrees this entire past week, and so, God, it feels so good. Outside, the wind is blowing. It's nice and crisp. Oh, it feels so good. You can wear a t-shirt and jeans and not sweat your ass off because of the humidity. It's good. Hi, I'm Doug Lackey, veteran columnist of Wrestleview.com and co-host of Wrestleview Live, alongside the effervescent editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com, Mike Tedesco, where we will be here live next week, covering live the WWE's Clash of Champions thingy. It is a watch-along. Tune in. Probably about a half hour, maybe 7:30, something like that. I mean 6 or 6:30 before the pay-per-view. We'll be right here. Mike is going to be live recapping the show on WrestleView.com, and I'll be here to have some fun and watch the show with all of you. So, like, you're going to be watching it. You just watch along with us, you know. We're going to be doing some dumb, stupid stuff. So, yes, tune in for that. Let's get some pleasantries out of the way first. If you're in the chat room now, you say wee. If you're not in the chat room, there's not a damn thing I can do about that. Who all is in the chat room? I saw Andrew. I see Grash. I see the sexy hunk of man meat Lewis in there. I see Shane. Hi, how are you? Wee. Who else is in there? I think I saw Michael. Michael Ryan in there. He was saying, I haven't watched wrestling in over 4 months. Hoping Doug can provide a spark for me to watch again. Well, maybe. I mean, I hope to keep you intrigued somewhat. Maybe. Why not just stop on by here next week? Don't have to watch the wrestling, but you can hear us be stupid about it. Machoon in the chat room going, wee, on a beautiful wee day. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, if you didn't blow a 20-0 lead in the fourth quarter, says Daniel. Here's the one thing. I have not been following NFL football at all, as I told you my commentary and my rant regarding that last week, so I'm not going to dip into that again. But I listened to baseball, and my Indians almost squandered a 7-0 lead going into the final 2 innings against Detroit. Gil's in the chat room going, wee! Okay, on the show today, my top 5 list of things that you should pay attention to from last week's WWE television. There is a theme regarding all 5 things that I'm going to mention on there. News on the front of last week's headlines. Lots of varying degrees of news. Some on the corporate level, some on the re-signing level, some on the releasing level. Yeah, lots of stuff going on in there when it comes to the news and stuff. The WWE milk carton is again over 30 strong. We actually might be approaching 40 entrants on the milk carton. Speaking of the milk carton, Xia Li, after appearing on NXT last Wednesday, off the milk carton. So yeah, we hadn't seen her in a while, so she is now off the milk carton. And also I've made some alterations on the milk carton. Pete Dunne is off the milk carton after it was revealed by BT Sports doing their behind the scenes thing of NXT UK. He is now a producer of NXT UK, so off the milk carton. And I've also taken the grizzled young veterans off the milk carton because, quite frankly, I've given up on that, but there's still some people on the milk carton that I'm keeping on there, and I have my reasons for that. So we're doing that. And finally, Clash of Champions is next Sunday. I believe 6 matches have been announced for the card on Clash of Champions, and so we're going to predict those 6 matches right here. If any other matches are announced between now and later on when the show goes on, then we will predict those live. But 6 matches Is this going to be an all-lock show? Is Doug going to really put his body on the line and do 6 locks for Clash of Champions? I think I might. We had a lot of fun doing that last time, so we'll go ahead and do that. So, yeah, 6 locks. Doug, what do you mean by a lock? Well, what I mean by that is every professional wrestling podcast makes predictions on pay-per-views, and this one is no different. However, usually when I have a prediction and I'm very confident in it, I will lock said picks. If that locked prediction fails to be realized, then we do a shot of the Luna Azul Blanco tequila. No shots today. We have broken even. I do not owe anything. And so, yeah, no tequila today. Hell yeah. But just because this is a tequila-free show doesn't mean that this is a sober show. Sources for today. I've been really looking forward to showing this off to you guys. First off, the sources. Professional wrestling news sites always say that their sources tell them that this was supposed to happen, and their sources have confirmed that this was supposed to happen. Well, on our website, we double check and triple check our sources at Wrestleview.com to make sure that all of your news is correct and factual. And on this show, our sources are fresh, they are pure, and they straight from the horse's mouth, and that's mine. And so, the sources today. So a few weeks ago, mentioned it on our live watch along on Payback that I made some really good stuff. This is bottle of Bombay Dry Gin is what that is. But holy hell, Doug, why is it so dark? Yeah, why is that so dark, Doug? What's going on? Well, mediocre Lewis and Jamel in the chat room going, wee! Why is your Bombay Dry Gin so dark, Doug? What is going on there? Well, you see, I took this bottle of Bombay Dry Gin and I infused it with some Scottish breakfast tea. Approximately 12 bags of Scottish breakfast tea. I took the tea out of the bags, put it in the bottle, and let it seep and soak in for about a good 3 hours, and then just filtered it out. And so, yeah, we're going to have some of this stuff. ABV, as always, Mashoon asking me what the ABV is on this boy. It's 43%. It's a 43% alcohol by volume. As most alcohol is, it's usually 40 at least. So we are having this great stuff. And as you can see, I have made this stuff about 3 weeks ago. So, yeah, for 3 weeks, this has been really running its course. And so, we are having that mixed with lemonade to have a true spiked Arnold Palmer. And this is what I've been drinking with the Bombay infused with Scottish breakfast. That's good. It's nice, refreshing. Yeah, makes you feel really good. Yeah, it's a lot better than I've seen spiked Arnold Palmer by the can, and that's more of a malt beverage. Nah. You do the real stuff is what you do. It's good stuff. Oh, so this is going to be a fun show. This is going to be a really good fun show because, oh boy, these locked picks I got to make on the pay-per-view. I'm very, very confident in half of them. Other half, not so much, but we'll get into that later on in the show. But first, 5 things to look at from last week's WWE television, and there's a theme with all 5 of these picks that I say. Mediocre Lewis, 6 days till Mafia Definitive Edition, Doug. Mafia Definitive Edition, well, yeah. Me personally, I'm waiting a little bit, video game-wise. I would like to get a PlayStation 5, but I'm going to wait a while until production is up and running on it, because I want to get one, because Demon Souls remake. Oh, that's what I'm looking forward to. But until then, top my 5 on Lackey's list, there is a theme with it, and that theme is repackaging. So let's start off, and you're going to notice a lot of this stuff is happening on one show, and that's going to be Monday Night Raw in particular. But let's start things off with one of the things to look at from WWE television is Braun Strowman going to Raw Underground, going face-to-face with a project that I have been mentioning for at least 6 to 8 months on this show, Daba Kato, also known as Babatunde. Both of them standing nose to nose. These 7-footers, big boys, staring down each other over at Raw Underground. I am very fascinated by this on so many fronts. Number one, Braun Strowman has undergone another repackaging. Understand that. So first off, he starts off with the Wyatt family. Then he becomes Braun Strowman. How many face turns, how many heel turns have we seen with this guy? He's not approaching Big Show levels, that's for darn sure. But this is another repackaging because we just had previously Monster Braun Strowman, and before that we had the Strowman Express. So here we are again with a repackaging of Braun Strowman. The problem, though, with this is within the confines of the show within the show, the federation within the federation of Raw Underground. And my problem with this is, what is the end game with anything involving Raw Underground? Raw Underground is supposed to be where we're reintroduced to people, I guess. We were reintroduced to the longtime stalwart of the WWE milk carton in Arturo Ruas. Riddick Moss jumped off the milk carton after 6 months of being on it and trapped in middle-class white suburbia. He shows up on there. Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir have debuted on there and also gotten off the milk carton at the same time. So, but the problem is, no one who has appeared in Raw Underground has stepped out of the underground. They stay within the confines of it. And so what is the point of underground in that only it is a entity within an entity within an entity? I don't know what the function of Raw Underground is, other than letting you know that people still exist. But, you know, that's what the WWE milk carton does. Reminds you that people exist. And so they get off the milk carton by showing up on Underground. But again, I don't know what the point of Underground is until someone comes out of there, i.e. Ruas, Moss, Shafir, Duke, Babatunde. I'm going to call him Babatunde. I would rather call him that than Daba Kato. It's like mixtures of consonants and vowels, and they switch everything around. I don't like it. I just don't like it. But it's what you get. Second thing to notice from WWE television, and also in the form of repackaging, let's stay on the Fiend Bray Wyatt vibe, where Braun Strowman exited the swamp and turned into a monster, and now he's turned into this guy on Raw Underground. Well, what about the other one who has come into contact with Bray Wyatt? That being Alexa Bliss. Brand new repackage for Alexa Bliss. She is no longer sarcastic, condescending, and patronizing as a heel. She's no longer, you know, I guess happy, awkward best friend. She is now stoic, emo chick from Hot Topic, who just could easily get to the front row of a My Chemical Romance show or something. I don't know. Alexa Bliss. Now turning into, Andrew brings it up in the chat, Sister Bliss. Take the sip of the sources on this one. This is interesting. Okay, to totally augment character's persona this way, to go from vibrant to stoic, and it being because of Wyatt. That's what they're alluding to on the television shows. Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss's best friend on the show, will be having a championship match against the SmackDown Women's Champion Karen at the Clash of Champions pay-per-view. And I imagine that Alexa Bliss will be part of that match in some way, shape, or form. So, but here's another thing to kind of pay attention to. Repackage number 2, Alexa Bliss. What do we think of this? I'm intrigued. It's very, very interesting. Not really sure, babyface or heel, not sure, just in her own little world. She's attacked Nikki Cross and now attacking Lacey Evans. So we don't really know what the MO is of Sister Bliss. Only in that it does bring a lot more intrigue to the women's division in SmackDown. Because right now, Karen versus Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks gave a really bad interview. Bad promo, bad segment last Friday. It was... So, it's good to have this going on in the periphery, so that if that doesn't turn out too well, we've got something to fall back on and maybe build upon and possibly build a brand new babyface within SmackDown's women's division, because Sasha Banks ain't gonna cut it. They're going to try that. They're going to drive that car, the babyface Sasha car, for about 2 months. And we'll see how that turns out. But I've got a feeling that's going to be pushed to the wayside before Royal Rumble, is the way it's looking to me. So who's going to be the new babyface of SmackDown? We don't know. But all we know is we've got a humongous question mark in Sister Bliss. Yeah. Kind of interesting. Third thing to pay attention to from last week's television, and again, revolving around the shifting of characters, Kushida. Wow, who would have thought that I would be mentioning Kushida in my things to pay attention to? But when it comes to transitions or repackages of performers, this one, Kushida, longtime member of the WWE Milk Carton, only appears once on television and then is gone for over a month, then appears on television again, he's off again for another month, but it looks like this time we're going to keep Kushida on television by repackaging him, being a little more aggressive. He didn't have his wacky entrances, hearkening to Back to the Future. He didn't stare at his watch, looking up at the sky or anything like that. He just bum rushed into the ring after Austin Theory was on the mic and just drop kicked him. Well, enziguried him, I guess is the way to put it. This is now, I guess finally, the push of Kushida. Kushida, after joining NXT and joining the WWE roster, had wrist surgery, but within a month after he joined the roster. He had been gone for about a good 3 or 4 months with that wrist injury. Came back, had some really interesting matches against Walter. I also believe he had small, short little programs with Cameron Grimes. Damian Priest, I believe, was part of another one. But recently, Kushida had only been taking part in triple threat clusterfucks to kind of protect him. Triple threat match involving the ladder match for the NXT North American title. Another triple threat match to try to determine contenders for the Little Critter title. So after protective triple threat matches, we can now try to establish this aggressive side of Kushida. And this all came out after he was attacked after a triple threat match where Velveteen Dream blindsided him after his match. Kushida is now just pissed. He's just going to take it out on people. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I don't blame him for trying it with this character. You got to inject something into him, and it's good to see. You know, I'm not a humongous Kushida mark by any stretch of the imagination, so don't be interpreting it like that. But it's just good to see a slight tweak in a personality aspect of a character that is hardly on television, and it actually work. It's not like taking someone and just making them a badass for the sake of making them a badass, i.e. Alberto Del Rio or Damian Sandow. This is tweaking the personality just a hinge to make them aggressive. It's not like he's going to get on a microphone and start cursing people out like a badass or start insulting people. He's just going to get in the ring and kick people in the face, which is good. It's a nice little injection for this guy. Alterations to WWE performers from last week. Case number 4. Asuka versus Zelina Vega. On Monday Night Raw, Zelina Vega apparently has kicked Andrade and Angel Garza to the curb, and now is finally getting into in-ring competition. Previously, her only in-ring competition would be in intergender matches, mixed tag matches, made job to a female performer here or there, but she's never been given a program on her own since joining the WWE, period. Not in NXT, not on the main roster. Well, not the main roster. NXT is the main roster, but not on Raw. This is the first time she will be in an actual program. And I have been kind of flouting out there that Zelina Vega should be in a program. This should have been done a long time ago, but I guess they wanted to milk the Garza Andrade thing dry, and woe is it dry. That well is dry. There is nothing we can do with Garza and Andrade right now except have them go against each other, and what are you doing after that? Watch out for a split, one of them going to SmackDown, the other one staying on Raw, who knows? So, Zelina Vega finally striking onto her own. This one, we'll see how long this one goes. I don't think we're going to see that match at Clash of Champions. It's way too early. I don't think they're going to be able to pull that off to make it compelling enough on the go-home show tomorrow night. But it's definitely compelling for an October pay-per-view. If you can just have Zelina Vega defeat some women on Monday Night Raw. And who would she defeat? Peyton Royce, Billie Kay. You do one of those two. Though we're trying to build up Peyton Royce right now, so Billie Kay can take a powder to her. Can do that. You could even bring some of the non-signees from NXT on over to Raw to fill in that void as well. Let me see. You got Jessica Kamea from NXT. There's some others on there. Indy Hartwell is another one who could job to her. There are females you can bring on Raw to make cameo appearances for Zelina Vega to take out and build up to an Asuka-Zelina match, title match of sorts. But it's going to be a while. This isn't going to be happening for, that match, I will be shocked if they pull off Asuka-Zelina Vega for next Sunday's Clash of Champions. But for now, we will just try to look forward to Zelina Vega and Billie Kay.
Hey, Kayla!
Oh gosh, I gotta turn down the reverb on my speakers. There we go. I do miss the Iconics, but Billie Kay is still with them, and that's what Billie Kay is my girl. I love me some Billie Kay. So, 4 repackages for the WWE's television from last week. There's still one big one we got to talk about coming up. But before that, meanwhile, in AEW, we just don't give a shit. On AEW Dynomite last Wednesday, Thunder Rosa, the NWA Women's Champion, is now part of AEW's roster. And she had a match against this chick in the red. I don't know what her name is, and I don't want to know what her name is, and don't need to know what her name is. This match signifies everything about how not to be professional. Throughout this entire match, Thunder Rosa's opponent was not selling a damn thing, was about as enthused as, as I would be going to Michael's or a Hobby Lobby. Just had no enthusiasm, no expressions, just did not give a shit about anything that was happening. And it's infuriating. It's incredibly infuriating. If I was in the back, in the production staff of AEW watching this match that they had, immediately when this performer would come through the gorilla position and to the back, I would be shredding up her contract and kicking her out the door. Yeah. So, yeah. I would give her papers. Just let her go. And I am shocked that Thunder Rosa kept it professional in there, because if I'm applying this full Nelson and this person is acting like this, potatoes would be thrown viciously and violently. I would have the match called by the referee because I would be doing some harmful shit to this chick in the red. But anyway, so I hope she that might have been her last match for anywhere. You won't see her anywhere. I can't imagine any organization that would hire her after that kind of performance on AEW. And AEW ought to come out and say something about her demeanor and her performance in that ring. If anyone is allowed to mention what her name is, they should, and just throw her under a fleet of buses. Okay? There is no place for this at all. No place at all. But finally, number one, repackaging on the WWE. The swerve happened last week. It was cemented 2 weeks ago. It was cemented last Monday, and everyone is talking about this. And that's these 4 guys. The Hurt Business. Lashley, Cedric Alexander, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin. This is right now, many people are calling the photo negative evolution. I don't know about that. But I'll tell you right now, they're fun. They're a lot of fun right now. And it's really difficult to say they're basically heels. They are heels. But though they offered up their services for the right price to get rid of Retribution on Monday Night Raw, Retribution showed up in the main event, disrupting Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre. And then out came the Hurt Business to even up the odds against Retribution. I'm digging these guys. I'm digging this group. This is good. This is good stuff right here. No, don't get on the bandwagon of giving them all the titles. No, that's not the point. These guys are the highlight of Monday Night Raw now. These might be the main characters. They're getting darn near close to it. Drew McIntyre is supposed to be the main character, but damn, these guys are close But what's weird about this, though, is with this being such a high-level faction, a high-level stable, and they are on the minds of everyone talking about Raw, I still don't see a WWE champion among them. And that's what's weird. I can't give the WWE title to any four of these guys. We can't do it with Lashley. We already gave him shots against McIntyre unless he ends up getting it in some kind of clusterfuck involving Randy Orton, Keith Lee, and Drew McIntyre. You could do the tag team titles, absolutely, with Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. They would work great together. MVP, though, is great as a mouthpiece, is great gatekeeping in the ring when it comes to getting over a mid-card. But, again, I do not see a WWE champion among this group. And is that good or bad? I think it's just fine. We don't need to have a main title on this faction or stable to verify them or confirm them. They are already confirmed to be a big deal. So we don't need to put props on them to further verify it. It just depends on their actions within the confines of the show. Have them go against Retribution. Have them just beat up people that they just want to beat up because they don't like the look on their face. Have them show up in Underground and beat the crap out of people again. This is a fantastic stable. But you gotta know when to pump the brakes when you're liking them so much. Kushida reminded me, yes, Lashley is the United States champion. Yes, he is. But I just don't see him potentially dropping that or handing it off to someone else in the stable to become a WWE champion. So, and that's okay. These guys are great. They're a fantastic part of the show. I don't see it going away anytime soon. Watch out for a match involving them in the Survivor Series. That's when I'm really going to pay attention. These guys against a group in Retribution, that's kind of defeats the purpose of Retribution, doesn't it? Like, Retribution is against the WWE, but they're going to fight within the confines of the rules of the organization that they're against. It's kind of like NWO. That was the only thing I never understood about the NWO was they wanted to take over an organization, yet they battled within the confines of that organization's rules. I never understood that. But anyway, those are the 5 things. All repackages of sorts. All repackages of sorts found on the WWE TV. Go-home shows happening this week on Monday and Friday. But yeah. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff happening. Take a sip of your sources because we're about to dip into some news. Sad news on the passings. People re-signed. Some people reallocated. New trademarks. And other weird news. Let's just do this. Oh, that's going to be the injury list, but we'll do that in a little bit. First off, sad to announce last week the passing of Jerry Brown at the age of 83. He was one of the original Hollywood Blondes tag team in the 70s. Part of the Hollywood Blondes, Jerry Brown and Dale Buddy Roberts. They were a popular tag team traveling through the territories from 70 to 77. Taking on Oliver Humperdinck as their manager in 73. They found success in Montreal. One of the biggest live shows ever in Montreal. They defended their tag team championships against Bruno Sammartino and Edouard Carpentier. They took their acts to Florida, California, and Texas. But sad about the passing of Jerry Brown, one of the original Hollywood Blondes from back then. I got to look up some stuff on these. There's a lot of passings that we've had in professional wrestling that I want to watch old matches of, and I've got to try to find some of them. is I would love to do some watch-alongs of matches on this show of performers that have passed that I really should know more about. As a professional wrestling fan, as a fan of well over 35 years, okay? So I need to educate myself, and I'd like you to educate with me. I don't word. Learn with me. Views on the spiky Nerf ball front of COVID-19. WWE Hall of Famer Booker T revealed that he tested positive for that spiky Nerf ball in June. He made that announcement on his radio show, but revealed he had only just received the info from the CDC that day. Despite having symptoms of getting tested for the virus in June, Booker T only received the information that he was positive at the time on September the 14th. 3 months since he was tested for COVID, he then finds out he's positive. Talks about the process of being tested and considered himself very lucky. He said, quote, "About an hour ago from the CDC, they told me that I have tested positive for the coronavirus back at the end of June. I never got my result back, but they called me today to tell me that back at the end of the June when I got tested, I was positive. I've had 3 tests since then, and they all came back negative. It just goes to show how backed up we really are with this system we're working with. People are just finding out, and I'm living proof. Thank God I'm still here, and I have a healthy immune system. God spared me on this one, but I could have been one of the nearly 200,000 people that didn't know I had this." 3 months. He was tested in June and didn't know that he was positive for 3 months. He was appearing on WWE television. He had been tested 3 times, and they all came back negative within those 3 months. That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. And he's absolutely right. It goes to show how backward this country is right now when it comes to COVID-19. Incredibly backward when it comes to it. So, you guys like having fun dreaming of performers returning to the WWE and jumping the gun, kind of getting a little egg on your face, but you know you might be right? Well, here's one of those. According to P-Dub Insider's intrepid reporting and horrid sources, former WWE Women's and Divas Champion Melina Perez is set to return to the company. She was rumored to be starting with the company within the next week. This report coming out on Friday, this past Friday. So, according to P-Dub Insider's reporting, within the week, we're supposed to see a Melina Perez. So what would Melina Perez say about this? She would jump on the Twitter the next day, actually on her Facebook page, and say, in a lengthy post, stated the reports make her heart ache because she loves her fans. She claimed that most of the sites post things just for clicks, and it is not accurate news. Perez did not deny talking to the WWE, and also stated that if she's coming back, a great surprise was just now ruined. She said, quote, "I lost my father last month. Am I emotionally ready? I'm 41. Am I physically capable? Is there a story available? Simply talking to the WWE makes my heart happy. I am grateful for my time with them, but one day I'll come home, but when the time is right. So if it doesn't happen now, I'm sorry you thought I was returning. If it does happen, well, these sites ruined a great surprise. You should be upset that they cheated you out of that moment if that happens." Now, granted, we got sort of the same line when Edge was rumored to return, and those rumors were churned up about 4 months or 5 months before his triumphant appearance at the Royal Rumble of earlier this year. So don't be shocked if we do see Melina in a handful of months, but she makes very salient points. She's 41 years old. Is she physically capable of doing this again? If you've seen her in NWA, She doesn't have what she used to have. She can still be in the ring, but she can't do what she used to do. Passing of her father is a great weight on her shoulders and her heart and her mind. That's not the time to do something like that. And more to it, she says it again, if I was to come back, everyone just ruined everyone's fun. All just to get some clicks. All we do is we report, is what we do. What are they saying, and then what comes out? So, yeah. Yep, there's her post on the Faces books. Even says there bluntly, I am not signed with the WWE. I don't know if I want to scroll down on this one. Yeah, that's okay. We're not going to scroll down on that one. Hey, but do you guys like to postulate and speculate and gossip even more? Well, according to some reports, the identities were revealed of 5 Retribution members on Raw last Monday, according to Post Wrestling, and then confirmed by F4Dub Online, because they watch television. Do I even need to scroll down and read this report when all I have to do is look at this picture and I can tell at least 2 of these 5 Retribution members? I see Mia Yim and I see Double D Dominik Dijakovic. Who are the others? I'm not sure, but I think this would tell me. They say it's Mercedes Martinez. Is one of them. Shane Thorne and Dio Madden. Dio Madden has not been on television since he was eviscerated by Brock Lesnar when he used to be a part of the Raw announce team. Shane Thorne? Sure, I guess. Could be. But Mercedes Martinez, if that's what that other chick is supposed to be, she's certainly a lot shorter than she was on television. Shane Thorne is not that tall either. Let's just let everything be under wraps. Let's try not to figure out who Retribution is. I just really want this angle to be done and over with. I really do. Retribution is bad. It's really, really bad. Because now they don't attack SmackDown anymore. They're now just solely focused on Raw. They've never attacked NXT. I wonder why. Again, I'm just thinking that it's going to be revealed that they're all part of NXT, and we get a big old thing going on with Survivor Series where it's everyone against NXT. On the signing front, Wade Barrett has signed on to be a full-time commentator for NXT. Good for them. Barrett took over the NXT commentating duties on an interim basis after Mauro Ranallo left the WWE, and he had reportedly been in negotiations with the WWE to come back as a full-time commentator. Well, now it's come to fruition. Full press release by the WWE confirmed. So awesome. I think he fits there way better than he would fit in at NXT UK. Does it leave the door open for him to come back to ring work? Sure, but honestly, I don't see him going back to the ring. I think he's great at the commentary table. I think he blends in a great new voice. And I'm not just talking an opinion when I say voice. I'm talking a voice. This guy has a voice like nobody else has. And it's great to hear that on a weekly basis. And so I think this is perfect for him. Yeah. Please don't ask for him to get back in the ring. He doesn't need to come back into the ring. Not at all. It's just great to see him back. Great to see him having some work too. But then it would be asked by Sports Illustrated after the confirmation of his signing if he would come back to the ring. Quote by Wade Barrett regarding that. He says, quote, "Pro wrestling has always been a true love of mine, especially commentary. Physically, I feel 100%. My body feels incredibly good. I'm not doing commentary because I had a career-ending injury. I want to focus on commentary because I'm passionate about it. That's not to say I won't pull the boots back on at some point, but commentary is my focus, and I'm extremely excited about it." Yeah, Doug, know when you're being sold to. Yeah, I totally get it. But I do buy that he is definitely into commentary. We saw it in NWA. And he was great at the commentary table at NWA. So, yeah, I definitely believe him. Sure, he might pull the boots on sometime, but it's not going to be for a permanent time. He's just going to love doing what he's doing right now. Speaking of signings and re-signings, Intercontinental Champion Jeff Hardy revealed that he has in fact re-signed with the WWE. According to an interview with BT Sports, yep, he's back. Terms of the deal are unknown. Hardy mentioned he asked that his old song No More Words be used as his theme music once crowds were allowed back at shows. Hardy mentioned that the Hardy Boys theme song he currently uses should only be used when he teams with his brother Matt. So that's one of the things he's wanting, I guess. But, okay. So you want your own music? That's fine, I guess. So he is re-signed. We don't know for how long. I'm going to say maybe another year. His contract was due up for expiration here in the coming month, seeing as he has now worked through his injury time, getting recuperative surgery on his right knee, and while during that time ended up with a DUI here in North Carolina and ended up passed out drunk in a stairwell in Myrtle Beach. But Dougie's sober now. Everything's okay. Don't you believe him? We'll see. We'll see. We'll see as I take some of my sources. I know I should forgive, but he's got a rap sheet about as long as the border of North Carolina. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for me to try to jump onto that wagon. On the legal front, let's go to the legal news now. The man who attempted to kidnap Sonya Deville earlier this year pled not guilty to all of the charges brought against him. Philip A. Thomas II has been charged with aggravated stalking, armed burglary of a dwelling, attempted armed kidnapping, and criminal mischief. Armed burglary of a dwelling carries a sentence of life in prison if convicted. Aggravated stalking and attempted armed kidnapping are second-degree felonies, each carrying a 15-year sentence. Criminal mischief is a second-degree misdemeanor with just a fine as the sentence. Thomas is in prison without bail after he was determined to be a threat to the community. The next hearing for this case is set for November the 12th. Where Baronetto, or Sonya Deville, is to receive a temporary injunction against Thomas. Since then, Sonya Deville has been off television. She is not on the main roster, though she is still under contract with the WWE. Thomas, who pled not guilty, I'm sure pled not guilty to insanity, something like that. I don't think it's going to fly. There's plenty of records of what his conduct was like online. This was definitely premeditated. This is not an act of reason of insanity defense. Is not going to fly in this one. More news on the legal front. Matt Riddle filed for a dismissal of a restraining order in his sexual assault allegation case. According to a report by David Bixenspan, Riddle and his lawyer Daniel Rose requested the voluntary dismissal. Court records show that Matt Riddle was accusing Candy Cartwright, her real name Samantha Tavel, of committed stalking, previously threatened, harassed, stalked, cyberstalked, or physically abused by the petitioner, threatened to harm petitioner or family members or individuals closely associated with petitioner, used or threatened to use against the petitioner any weapons such as guns or knives, and destroyed personal property including but not limited to telephones and other communication equipment, clothing, or other items belonging to petitioner being Matt Riddle. Tavel's lawyer made a motion to dismiss the order, refuting that many of Matt Riddle's claims, refuting them. Among the claims was an accusation that Tavel had shared Lisa Riddle, that's Matt's wife, phone number to the media, as well as their home address. In June earlier this year, during the speaking out movement that happened on Twitter, Tavel accused Matt Riddle of sexual assault, detailing an incident that happened in 2018. Riddle denied the claims, but admitted to cheating on his wife with Tavel in consensual meetings. And also the WWE conducted their own internal investigation into all of this as well. So, kind of, it's really messy. It's real messy stuff. Ugh. So let's just get into stuff that's more concrete and more evidence-based. The WWE filed new trademarks. What was their new trademark they filed? It was for the name Ashante the, in quotes, Adonis, which is now the official in-ring name for Tehuti Miles. So Tehuti Miles is no longer Tehuti Miles. He is now Ashante Adonis. Okay. I guess that's news. Well, I tried it. It's kind of a slow week. News on the injury front. Ivar underwent neck surgery last Tuesday, taking care of a stinger that he had felt after Monday Night Raw 2 Mondays ago in a multi-man match. I believe it was an 8-man tag is what it was, with him and Eric, Ricochet, and Apollo Crews versus the Hurt Business. It was not good. This injury is going to be pretty substantial. This is going to be scary. I am not looking forward to the prognosis on this one. More news on the injury front. Simone Johnson, The Rock's daughter, is undergoing knee surgery. The 19-year-old, I believe. She's 19. I believe. I'm not sure. But Simone Johnson undergoing knee surgery. She's been a product of the WWE Performance Center, but again, undergoing knee surgery for the 3rd time. Johnson noted on Twitter that the surgery is not fun, but she is looking forward to her knees no longer popping out. She also asked for suggestions from the fans on how to pass the time. Simone Johnson signed with the WWE in February of this year, and she's been training, has not made her television wrestling debut, but she was part of the crowd of the Performance Center before the WWE had moved to the Thunderdome, or the Orgasmatron, as I call it. Speaking of hoping to get back into the wrestling ring, Wanda Wowzi has been shown training in a wrestling ring. Oh! She's training in a wrestling ring. Rousey was training over the weekend last week at a gym with Teal Piper, the daughter of the late Roddy Piper. Piper has been sidelined after undergoing a reconstruction of her meniscus and ACL. Piper made her pro wrestling debut last year on the AEW All Out Buy-In show in their little battle royale thing. And she's currently a member of the Women of Wrestling roster, but Wanda Wowzi has not been on TV since WrestleMania 35 from 2 years ago. Wanda just can't get it out of her system. And man, is she happy right there in that picture. Oh, she's a-selling. Oh, she's a working. Worker's always working. Oh, dog, when she's coming back. She's gonna come back. No, stop it. She's just training. Training with family and friends. She's just enjoying some time off. Just get over yourself. Yes. Sasha Banks is going to be in the Mandalorian season 2 thing. If you're into that sort of thing, yeah, go nuts. Go bonkers. I've never watched it. Sorry. Doug, what the hell's wrong with you? You've never seen Baby Yoda? I've seen the memes everywhere, okay? When I see a lot of shit about something all over my feeds, I tend to not want to check them out. It's just me. Finally, NXT TakeOver. The next one is set to be on October the 4th. Sunday, October the 4th. So, you're telling me we're doing back-to-back watch-alongs? Mikey, Effervescent One, I hope you're ready. Because, yeah, we go from doing back-to-back on SummerSlam and Payback to back-to-back on Clash of Champions and NXT TakeOver 3x ad 1. Or is it NXT TakeOver Brazzers and 1? I don't know. But it's going to be another watch-along. It's going to be another one. Oh, brace yourselves. That's going to be some nutty madcap goodness right there. So, news on the injury front. Here is our IR. Here's our IR list, disabled list of the WWE performers right now. Becky Lynch with a tiny human in her tum-tum. She is not due back until WrestleMania times. Jinder Mahal, reparative surgery on the same knee that he tore his meniscus. He should be due back here in about a month, probably about a month's time. Edge, torn tricep. He's not going to be back until WrestleMania times. Charlotte Flair, cosmetic surgery on a ruptured boob. She's not going to be back until Survivor Series times. Rey Mysterio with a torn tricep as well, but not as severe as Edge's. It's more of a partial tear. He may be back in time for the Survivor Series. Ivar. They call a cervical injury, but it's more of a stinger, neck stinger. We may not see him for another calendar year, is my guess on that one. Lars Sullivan, still on the main roster, still signed, still hurt for over 19 months with a destroyed ACL and MCL, and probably a PCL. We have no idea what's going on with that cat. Ember Moon, torn Achilles. That's way worse than Xavier Woods', who Xavier Woods is now one of the co-hosts of Talking Smack immediately following Friday Night SmackDown. So Ember Moon still rehabbing her torn Achilles. She won't be back until Royal Rumble times, if even that. Jimmy Uso, reparative surgery on his right knee. He'll be back for Survivor Series times. Elias, third injury in the last 2 years. Torn boob, torn pectoral muscle. He is not going to be back until WrestleMania times. Boa, though he hasn't reappeared on television, is coming back from a torn rotator cuff and labrum. He should be appearing on television soon. He made his announcement that he was on the Twitter. Dexter Lumis, an ankle injury of some kind. Don't know if it was broken or sprained, but he's not going to be back until Survivor Series times. And finally, Karrion Kross, after NXT 3x suffered a separated shoulder, and he will not be back until Survivor Series times. So, those are the people that are hurt. What about the people who aren't hurt? What about the people who are perfectly healthy? What about the people who haven't been on television, WWE television, pay-per-view, or otherwise for, say, 3 weeks? They end up on a very special list. A list of my own design. A list that goes stronger every week, regardless of what happens on the underground, regardless of what WWE Creative may think or try to do to this segment. It's the greatest thing known to mankind. The mascot is awesome. learned to love him. They try to get rid of him, but he still walks tall. It's the WWE milk carton.
Oh, you can't kill, you can't destroy me. I'm walking and I'm happy. Fuck off.
Starting to get a little worse as time goes by. Talking about my songs for Milky. You know? Yeah. I've got to come up with better lyrics. Okay, let's kick things off with a good old friend of ours that always seems to pop up on the milk carton every month and a half. Shorty G. Haven't seen him since the August the 28th episode of SmackDown, where he faced off against Matt Riddle to further a program with Matt Riddle and Baron Corbin. Are we going to try again to, put him in a match and make him a thing again? We've tried it twice, even 3 times this past calendar year with him. Just need to stop. Just stop it. Ship him as a little critter to 205 Live. Or ship him back to NXT. Okay? Yeah. It's done. Just stop it. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Haven't seen them since the August 26th episode of NXT, where they teamed up to face off against Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. Yeah. There's a battle royale coming up on this Wednesday on NXT, a battle royale of the Vagina Persuasion to figure out the next number 1 contender for the NXT Women's title. This will be the second such battle royal that they've done this year for the NXT Women's title. Sure. Why not? Why not indeed? Just do what you've always done. Mia Yim. Haven't seen her since that same episode of NXT on August the 26th, where she faced off against Shotzi Blackheart to make Shotzi Blackheart a thing, and Shotzi Blackheart was having her program with Robert Stone and Mercedes Martinez and Aaliyah. She's now powwowing around with Retribution. Sure. Yeah, prepare yourself for a reveal of some kind. I don't know. They get nothing for her. And quite honestly, her matches are not that good. Though Karrion Kross is injured with a separated shoulder, his valet, Scarlett, is not. She has not been on television since that episode of NXT on August the 26th, where she just stood alongside Karrion Kross to relinquish the NXT title. So, whenever Karrion Kross shows up, that's when Scarlett will show up, or Scarlett will show up 2 weeks before he comes back. So she's going to be on the milk carton as long as Karrion Kross is hurt. Welcome back to the WWE milk carton, Bianca Belair. We haven't seen her since she took part in a 6-woman tag match on Monday Night Raw. Yeah, that's considered a Teddy Long special.
Now, if all 4 of you want to mix it up, then we're going to do it right. I'm going to make this a tag team match.
She teamed up with Ruby Wyatt and Liv Morgan to square off against the Iconics and someone else that I can't. Zelina Vega. Yeah, this is sad. This one's really sad. What are we doing? What are we doing here? I don't know. Maybe we just build up Zelina Vega so that she loses, and then we build up Bianca Belair. Okay. Bianca Belair winning the Women's Royal Rumble. Maybe. We'll see. There are a lot of other females who could win the Royal Rumble. It's a prospect. It's a dream. We'll see. Probably not. I don't see it happening. Cameron Grimes. Haven't seen him since the August 22nd episode of NXT where he took part. I'm sorry. NXT Takeover Tres Equis was August the 22nd. He took part in the five-man ladder match thingy for the NXT North American title, alongside, but also people that showed up in there were Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. They were in a triple threat tag team match to determine number one contenders for the NXT tag team titles. Cameron Grimes will be on NXT this coming Wednesday, taking part in a gauntlet elimination match to determine the number one contender for the NXT North American title. Other contenders have been announced I think Kyle O'Reilly was announced, and Johnny Gargano. I think Gargano was announced. I'm not sure. But I know Cameron Grimes is in there as well. Lorcan and Burch have been regularly appearing on 205 Live, but we don't count 205 Live. We're talking the main roster. Dana Brooke. Haven't seen her since the August 21st episode of SmackDown, where she was at ringside watching out for Retribution to show up. Daniel Bryan, haven't seen him since that same episode of SmackDown on August the 21st. He delivered a monologue of sorts, talking up Matt Riddle, I think. I'm not sure. Naomi, haven't seen her since that August 21st episode of SmackDown, where she took on both Sasha Banks and then later on took on Karen. Since then, it's been a month. Did we have those matches as confirmation matches or what? I don't know why we had them, but we just wasted our time again. The former stalwart of the WWE milk carton, Arturo Ruas. Haven't seen him since the August 17th episode of Monday Night Raw, where he was taking part in the underground, trying to beat up Riddick Moss. Now, this guy, he's right now performing on 205 Live, but he's on the main roster and has yet to appear on mainstream television. That is Mustafa Ali. We haven't seen him since the August 17th episode of Monday Night Raw, where he took part in a six-man tag alongside, I believe, Ricochet and Apollo Crews to take on three members of the then Hurt Business, but now are four because Cedric Alexander has shown up with them. What the hell are we doing with this guy? Why do I make a big deal out of this? I really shouldn't. Who cares? Speaking of guys who are performing on 205 Live, this guy had a match with Mustafa Ali a couple of weeks ago. Humberto Carrillo. We haven't seen him since the August the 10th episode of Monday Night Raw, where he faced off against Seth Rollins, and before that he probably had a match against Murphy, and then before that he was doing tag team stuff with other people that didn't like those two guys. Yeah. Shane Thorne. Haven't seen him since the August 5th episode of NXT, where he had a match against Bronson Reed and was given way too much offense. Apparently, he's now part of Retribution. Sure, I guess. Why? What have you done to really make me think you're that? Kofi Kingston. Haven't seen him since the July 24th episode of SmackDown, where he gave his blessings to Big E on his singles run within SmackDown. Big E has yet to have a match of his singles run for 2 weeks after being attacked by Sheamus and then appearing again last Friday, attacking Sheamus again. It's almost as if someone I think might have been on this program said that one of the programs that Big E was going to have in his singles run was going to be against Sheamus, and that guy made that proclamation literally 2 months ago. Oh, and I just took a big swig of gin. I forgot to put the gin in first. Oh, that's my bad. Okay, so the genius thing only goes so far. Dominic Dijakovic, Double D. We haven't seen him since the July 22nd episode of NXT where he took a powder to Karrion Kross. Apparently, he is part of Retribution. That is obvious and everything. But, yeah, so be it. I don't care who's a part of Retribution. I just want it to end. Induce Share. Soroff and Ringu, not Rinku. Not Riku. No, she was in Final Fantasy X. Induce Share. Haven't seen them since the June 24th episode of NXT, where they were delivering a monologue that was actually delivered by their manager, Malcolm Bivens. First off, Induce Share has not been on television, and I believe it's because of a color, and that is green. Malcolm Bivens, though, I don't know why this guy's important. I really don't. I know he's funny on the Twitter, but I don't. It goes against whatever the hell he was supposed to be on NXT. I got a feeling these guys are going to be sent packing. Mojo Rawley. Haven't seen him since the June 19th episode of SmackDown, where he faced off against Shorty G to confirm that Shorty G was a thing. Apparently that didn't work because Shorty G is now back on the milk carton. Forgotten Sons have been forgotten for nearly 4 months, and it's all Jackson Riker's fault. I'm not going to go into why. Just watch my previous shows. I don't want to get into it again. Chelsea Green. Haven't seen her since the May 27th episode of NXT, where she teamed up with Charlotte Flair to face off against Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai in a tag team match. After that match, Chelsea Green fired her then manager, Robert Stone. Since then, Robert Stone has been on television every single week on NXT. Chelsea Green might have dyed her hair blonde and joined SmackDown. Maybe. We haven't seen a whole lot of pictures of her on the internet. She loves to take photos of herself on the Twitter and the Instagram. Haven't seen a whole lot of those for the past month. Do I have anything to mix my drink with? Oh boy. Wait a minute. No, I do. I've got a big old glass here. So yeah, I was starting to think last week that it was, I thought Maurice. I would love for Maurice to come back. I think it would be absolutely perfect for Maurice to come back with all the stuff that's happening with Miz and Morrison and Heavy Machinery, but it might be Chelsea Green. It very well could be Chelsea Green with dyed hair, but we'll see. Or it could be Carmella, who we have not seen since the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match back on May the 10th. She's got the hair. She just has to cut it. Just look, it could be Carmella. People are saying it's Carmella. People are saying it's a lot of different people. They were also, whatever. Who knows who it is? Who knows who's coming back? It's been 3 weeks that we've been teased with these vignettes. It's probably going to be Carmella. Bork Laser, but Doug, his contract expired. Why is he on the milk carton? He's on the milk carton because his picture is still on the main roster page. But Doug, there are a lot of, but Big Show's is on there too. This is a tough one for me. All of his merchandise has been taken off of WWEshop.com, but I think Big Show's are still there. John Cena's, I believe, are still there too. Should I keep Bork Laser on the milk carton? Something I've been fighting with. I mean, I pulled the plug on Pete Dunne, who would have appeared before Bork Laser did, and I pulled the plug on the Grizzled Young Veterans. Is it fair to pull the plug on Bork Laser? could. I'll tell you what, I could just keep him in my database, but keep him off the milk carton. But we haven't seen him since night 2 of WrestleMania on April the 5th when he lost the WWE title to Drew McIntyre. So, I don't know. Jamel saying I should remove Bork. I think I might. Yeah, I think I might remove Bork. Robert Roode. Haven't seen him since the March 8th Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, where he teamed up with Dolph Ziggler to vie for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. He is trapped across the border in Canada, cannot travel due to the spiky Nerf ball at the ripe young age of 43. Mansoor, haven't seen him since February 27th's Super Showdown event from Riyadh, Jeddah, Bismarck, South Dakota, where he had a match against Dolph Ziggler. No, he only performs in his home country of South Dakota. We know where that actually is. It's just the WWE doesn't really want to mention where he's actually from or why he only performs in South Dakota. Yeah, that's why their stock prices are so down. Kona Reeves, haven't seen him since the February 19th episode of NXT where he took a powder to Keith Lee in less than 25 seconds. Vanessa Bourne, haven't seen her since the January 15th episode of NXT where she took part in the first Battle Royale of the Vagina Persuasion to determine the number 1 contender for the NXT Women's title. Back then, that was Rhea Ripley was the champ. Bianca Belair won the Battle Royale. So here we are, 8 months later, and we're having another Battle Royale of the Vagina Persuasion. All right. Finally, we're dipping into 2019, and we're dipping into the stalwart of the WWE milk carton. In 8 weeks, we will have a new golden gallon. A golden gallon is someone who is perfectly healthy, has been on the main roster, and has not shown up on WWE television or pay-per-view for a whole calendar year. Michael saying, no, you're just making people up to make this milk carton segment last. No, I don't, because this one truly exists. In 8 weeks, we will celebrate the new golden gallon, Bo Dallas. We haven't seen him since the November 15th episode of SmackDown from last year, where he, Drew Gulak, and Curtis Axel were in the ring making fun of Braun Strowman leading into Survivor Series. Since then, Curtis Axel is no longer with the company. Braun Strowman has undergone 2 repackages, and Drew Gulak he was doing a program with Daniel Bryan, then he became his friend, then Daniel Bryan had a tiny human, so now Drew Gulak is just a filler. Having fun with Ford and Dawkins in Cesaro and Nakamura's lavish locker room. So Bo Dallas, 8 weeks, and he will become a brand new golden gallon. Will he be released before then? Maybe. We said that about Arturo Ruas, and Ruas ended up on the Underground. Arturo Ruas ended up on Raw Underground when there were 5 weeks left before he was to become a golden gallon. I got a feeling that something's going to be happening with Bo Dallas. He's got to be showing up soon. Who knows? They will let me down. I know they will. You participants to be showing up on the WWE milk carton, if they don't show up this week, are all coming from NXT. One of them is a stable. So, yeah. Not a whole lot of new entrants going to be showing up on the milk carton next week. So that's why we may not really dip into the milk carton, because there won't be an episode of Wrestleview Weekly, because we're going to be here live during Clash of Champions. Mikey Tedesco, the Effervescent One, and myself will be watching this live. Matches are going to be happening. Predictions need to be made. I need to make horrible decisions of my life and choose, and no, well, not choose, just take the consequences for them. It's time to predict this son of a bitch. All right. Break out the pad of paper. Hold on, I need a fresh sheet so that you don't question my integrity. I have not made any picks. CJ in the chat room going, wee! Night O Champions. No, it's Clash O Champions. Here is blank steno pad. I have not made any picks. We're doing this all on the fly. All right, 6 matches so far lined up for Clash O Champions. And as I said before, we are doing all locks. Oh boy. I feel very confident in half of them. The other half, not so much. Doug, what do you mean by locked picks? I said it before at the beginning of the show, and I'm going to go ahead and say it again. When I make predictions on this show, if I feel confident in them, I will lock them. If that locked prediction goes wrong, we do a shot of the Luna Azul Blanco tequila. I hate this shit. We are going to go 6-0 is what we're going to do. 6 matches, 6 locks. I am confident in this card. At least half of the card. At least half the card I am confident in. All right, grit your teeth. Break out your pen. Let's do this. Start things off with a triple threat ladder match for the Intercontinental title. Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn. Jamel asking, are the shots going to be live or during the watch along? It depends on how many locks go bad. Excuse me. I will take some of those shots live if they go wrong. Because I'm going to be making more locks on NXT TakeOver that will happen the following week live here for a watch-along. So, yeah, I can't have these locks pile up. So, all right. Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, triple threat ladder match for the Intercontinental title. This is kind of a tough one. Michael want me to do them all at the watch along. No, I am not going to do potentially 6 shots of tequila at once. Stop it. What will make for good television going forward? What will make for good television going forward? AJ Styles looks very, very attractive with that hair. I'm jealous of that hair. And I don't know what the fuck Jeff Hardy is. And Sami Zayn looks like the normal person to me here. I got Mediocre Lewis saying Zammy for the lock. I've got Jamel saying Canadian wins and lock it. Mashoon saying Bender retains. That's what I said. I called Jeff Hardy Bender. I forgot that. I called him Bender. And he is Bender. Shane Arnold saying he's got Sammy on this one. CJ, Jeff Harvey, lock it for a Sammy feud. Jeff Harvey? Okay. I definitely like a Jeff Hardy, Sami Zayn feud. I definitely like that. But what do we do with Malibu? What do we do with Malibu Al? What are we doing with AJ Styles here? What are we doing with Malibu Al? What do we do with him after this match if he's not winning the title? I want him to continue having Abyss at ringside, but we haven't seen Abyss since we haven't seen him for the past 3 or 4 weeks. So I got the Adam Lee reference there, CJ. Jamel, bring it up. What does he do after this? What do we do with AJ Styles after this? Do we have him go after Roman Reigns? Don't sound bad. Does he go after Roman Reigns for the title? He could. I don't see why not. That sounds kind of fun. There's no other, I can't think of a grudge match that AJ Styles would have, other than he's always going for a title of some kind. Jamel reminded me Abyss was on Talking Smack with the Malibu Al. Okay, that's good. I haven't watched a whole lot of Talking Smack. I've only seen the excerpts from when The Miz was the host and Big E giving his great inspirational speeches. And CJ does bring up a good point. I can't have Malibu Al going after Roman Reigns right now. Yeah, I don't know. This is a tough one. But, AJ Styles. Oh, Jamel, thank you. Thank you. Yes. Put him on Big E's menu. Absolutely. Put him on the Big E menu. Where Big E says that he wants to go after a title and AJ Styles is going, no, son, I'm going up. All right. First off. I'm totally digging a Jeff Hardy, Sami Zayn program for the Intercontinental title. However, I don't know if Zayn's going to win it, though. I can still see Zayn vying for the Intercontinental title, even though Jeff Hardy grabs it in this ladder match. I see that. I see that right now. No, right now, I can't lock Zayn in this. I just can't. Jeff Hardy just won the Intercontinental title. He just won it. All right. And I know Sami Zayn never lost it. He was across the border. But they want to confirm Jeff Hardy, but they also want to confirm Sami Zayn is an annoying little shit. So, I'll take Bender and lock it. Bender. Bender will be the champion, still be champ, lock it. I can still have Bender versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title after this, even if Zayn doesn't win the title. I'm falling in love with that idea, though, of AJ Styles Big E after the Sheamus program. That's fantastic. I love that idea. For the SmackDown Tag Team titles, again. Well, not again. Well, I don't. Cesaro and Nakamura defending the SmackDown Tag Team titles against Lucha House Party. We've been seeing fractions building within Lucha House Party. The split's about to happen, probably. Right. And now we're going to get it full out on the show. Sure. Who else? What other tag teams do we have in SmackDown right now? Cesaro and Nakamura are going to have these titles for a very long time. And so they're just to have them. Simple. Yeah, Cesaro knock. Yeah, Cesaro knock. Knock Cesaro? Cesaro Mura. I don't know how it's it. Yeah. Cesaro knock is what I'm going to call them. For the women's tag team titles, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defending the women's tag team titles against Ruby Wyatt and Liv Morgan. What other tag teams of the Vagina Persuasion do we have right now? They're all in NXT. There are none on the main roster right now. None. There are none. So, what do we do here? Do we keep it on Jackson Baszler for the time being until an NXT team takes it from them? Yeah, I think that's what we do. What team would beat them? Oh, take your pick. You got plenty of female tag teams to choose from. Tons of them. Okay? So, yeah. I don't see I can see Baszler and Jax fighting amongst each other during the match, but it's not going to cause them to lose the titles. That's not really going to build up for a while. Yeah, I just don't see it building. And what's weird is we're kind of in a rut with the Raw women right now, if you haven't noticed. We're kind of in a rut that we've got to bring Zelina Vega in to kind of stall around Asuka until we get our bigger names back, i.e. Charlotte, i.e. Becky Lynch, or the meme. Okay, so this one, yeah, I have to stick it. I have to stick with this one. Stick with Baszler and Jax. I'm keeping my eye right now on Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro. I think that team is so much fun to watch. And I think that would be a team that would be great to have the women's tag team titles later down the line and just like pull off miraculous win after miraculous win. I think the women's tag team titles should be showcased on NXT more than they should be on Raw or SmackDown, now that we've got Karen and Banks out of the way. So, Jax and Baszler retain. Lock that. Baszler and Jax retain. Feeling okay. Because the real easy ones are coming up right now. That's a simple one. Karen defending the SmackDown Women's title against Nikki Cross. There is going to be Sister Bliss implications in this match. This one makes it a no-brainer. Is this not the third or fourth time that Nikki Cross has had a title match against Karen? It has to be. This will lead into Bliss will interfere, leading into a Bliss Cross program. What are we going to do with Karen? We're waiting on Sasha Banks to come back and with that incredibly tepid interview she gave. That'll build up for, that'll go for about 2 or 3 months, leading us into December, where we hopefully have someone built up to face Karen. I would love to see Naomi built up, but god damn it. No, Karen retains. It's a no-brainer. I'm really not digging this ding-dong line that she has. She's been really... I'm not a fan of the ding-dong line, and I'm not just saying that because, oh, God, she's so annoying. Oh, God, I'm falling for it. She's got me, hook, line, and sinker. I'm just not a fan of that line, you know? But she's pretty darn good as a heel. I'll give her that. But Sasha Banks sucks as a babyface, and it's horrible that we got to verify and confirm that Karen is a heel because of that. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton in an ambulance match for the WWE title. Will Keith Lee take part in this match in any way, shape, or form? Monday Night Raw right now is a cluster. Okay, we have no idea what's going on this title picture. We have no idea whatsoever because this has been the program of Monday Night Raw for the past 3 months. We had Dolph Ziggler McIntyre. Now we got Orton McIntyre. Those are the only McIntyre programs that we've had. And that's fine. 5 months, 2 programs on a main title. That sounds about right. But it's time to put the kibosh on it, okay? Orton McIntyre has gone on for too long. I don't think Keith Lee's going to get involved in this one. I don't see it. What I do see is a Randy Orton, well, not a Randy Orton Keith Lee, because we already had a Randy Orton Keith Lee. Lee went clean on Orton at Payback. What are we doing? I have no idea on this one. It's an ambulance match. Got to chuck the Joker into the ambulance and you win. I don't know. Do we have anyone interfering? You know, there's a Braun Strowman in Underground. Why not? Why not indeed? I think that's later. That's down the line after this match. I can't see Braun Strowman interfering in this one. I see. Damn it! When you're in doubt of who's going to win, Doug, and a title is on the line, you always go for the retain. I go for the retain. Yep, Drew, lock it. Title changes are few and far in between in the WWE. They're few and far in between. And I got to go with my gut. Got to stay with the DMAC. Got to stay with DMAC. Finally, final match that's on the card for the Clash Champions. This one is a no fucking brainer. The bigger question is, how long's it going to go? Jey Uso facing Roman Reigns for the Universal title. This one. Okay, first off, lock Roman. Locking Burden. Okay, Burden. He's winning. Okay, lock Burden. Okay, no brainer. But I want to throw a prop bet on this. I'm going to throw a prop bet. Double or nothing. And what I mean double or nothing is, if I get this, well, this is another lock. But, yeah, it's another lock that I'm making. Over under on the time of this match. Over under of the time of this match, bell to bell. How long will this match last? Bell to bell, not counting the entrances, not just bell to bell. How long is this match going to last? The over under on this match, I will place at 15 minutes. 15 minutes is what I'll do. 15 minutes over under on this match. Burden's going to win. We know that. Jamel, if it's short, they do a finger poke of doom at Bash of the Beach. No, they aren't going to do that. No. This is what's going to happen. Burden is going to do as less as possible. That's what this program has been about. Roman does as less as possible, but he wins. 15 minutes. We know this is going to be one of the last matches, okay? We know this is going to be one of the final two. If it's going to be one of the final two, and WWE pay-per-views tend to start at 7 o'clock, they go to about 9:30, 10 o'clock. Going 10 o'clock, their main events go a good 20. I got you guys saying under. Andrew saying it's going to go 10 minutes. Grash being under 12. But I think 15 is a good one. I'll go the under. It'll be under 15 minutes. Take under 15. I'm locking that. That's 7 locks. I'm doing 7 locks. Less than 15 minutes. I like doing prop bets. I always like doing prop bets. That's my more concern. I mean, I know Burden's going to win it, so that's one shot at tequila that I'm avoiding. But I want to make it a little more intriguing. You know? Because it goes against the character. No, I'm not. No entrances, Grash. We're talking bell to bell. Bell to bell. The bell sounds, the bell ends. That's it. I think 15 minutes is good. Because, again, the point of this character of Roman is that he does as little as possible. So he's going to try to get the haymakers in. He's going to miss. He's going to make like a Braun Strowman match and get his shoulders shoved into the ring post. Jay tries to work on it for a very long time. We're going to get chicanery in this. I bet you cheating's going to be involved of some kind to show that Roman Reigns is a heel. Now, Usos pull the twin switch, says Mediocre Lewis. No. Jimmy Uso is not going to be there. Jimmy Uso's hurt. There's not going to be any twin killing on this one. No twin magic on this one. Yeah. I'm pretty confident in that one. Under 15 minutes? Yeah. You can deal with that. There may be some other matches that'll be announced for Clash of Champions. Big E versus Sheamus could be announced. We could see Bobo Lashley defending the United States title again. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins for the Raw Tag Team titles are doing nothing right now. So, yeah. That's what it's looking like so far. So here are your 6 matches, all of them locks for Clash of Champions next week. In the triple threat Intercontinental ladder Continental triple thing. AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn versus Jeff Hardy for the Intercontinental title. Ladder Persuasion triple threat match. I am taking Bender to retain the Intercontinental title. Cesaro and Nakamura will successfully defend their SmackDown Tag Team titles against Lucha House Party. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler will successfully retain the Women's Tag Team titles against Ruby Wyatt and Liv Morgan. Karen will successfully defend the SmackDown Women's title against Nikki Cross. Drew McIntyre will successfully defend the WWE title against Randy Orton in an ambulance match. And finally, Roman Reigns, Burden, will successfully defend the Universal Championship against Jey Uso. Wow, that is an incredibly boring card, Doug. No one losing their titles? Yes, that's right. No one losing their titles. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the WWE. Something you should be used to by now. I think that was a pretty good show. I think I did pretty good. I feel very confident in those picks. If there are going to be any other matches announced for Clash of Champions, I will predict those. Where will I predict those? When will I predict those? I will predict them right here. Next week, during Wrestleview Live for the watch-along for Clash of Champions. I think our start time, we'll go live on air around about 6 or 6:30, something like that. Any matches that are announced that I did not go over on the card, or even any changes we will talk about right there on the show. Yeah, it'll be a fun one. And then also, the following week is NXT Takeover something. And it's a watch-along as well. So, back-to-back watch-alongs. Can you guys handle that? Will you guys remember that? Well, you know what? If you have a hard time remembering when those shows are going to be, click on the subscribe button. Click on the like button. Click on the join button. Click on... There's buttons down there. Click on all of those. Make sure to become a subscriber to the Wrestleview YouTube channel. We do all kinds of weird, nutty, fun stuff on here with everyone involved. Kit, you are in the chat room. And we do it with our sources. Well, at least I will be. Join us next Sunday for Wrestleview Live number 80-something. Clash of Champions watch along. Not sure what I'm going to be drinking. Probably going to have a craft. I'll have my lunchbox with me with my craft brews in there. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun time. Tune in tomorrow night following Monday Night Raw. Mike Tedesco and the beautiful Victoria will be talking about the Go Home show for Monday Night Raw. But But until then, you guys have an awesome week. Don't be an asshole. Wear a mask. Think of others before yourselves. Thank you all so much for stopping by, everyone in chat. Man, I need to take some Nexium. And as always, know when you're being sold to.